Imagine yourself standing lone on a windswept ridge, the air sharp enough to sting your cheeks. Midnight stretches above you like an endless black ocean, dotted with stars that feel ancient, cold, and impossibly far away. Your breath turns to mist as you look up, past the bright worlds we've known all our lives, beyond Jupiter's churning clouds, past Saturn's halo of rings, farther still to Neptune's icy blue glow, and Pluto's lonely wander at the edge of everything we understand. And then you feel it, the sense that something else is out there, something enormous. Not a comet, not a dim star, but a hidden world moving in silence, a giant that sunlight barely reaches, taking days or even weeks for a single ray to crawl across its frozen surface. For decades, whispers of this shadow planet have drifted through astronomy like rumors of a ghost. But here in 2025, those whispers have grown into something louder, something impossible to ignore. This is the story of Planet 9, a world that has refused to show itself, yet leaves its fingerprints everywhere. A world so massive, its gravity tugs at icy bodies thousands of kilometers apart, guiding them like a shepherd in the dark. For centuries, we've searched for hidden planets. We've felt their pull before we ever saw their faces. This time, we're closer than ever. One more powerful telescope is about to sweep across the sky, and with it, we may finally discover whether this phantom world truly exists, or whether we've been chasing a dream. The truth is, our hunt for unseen worlds didn't begin with modern telescopes or computers. It began thousands of years ago beneath the moonlit skies of ancient Greece. Philosophers would watch the heavens for hours, studying the strange wanderers drifting among the fixed stars. They saw Mercury darting like a silver spark, Venus glowing like a jewel, Mars smoldering red, Jupiter looming large, and Saturn moving with solemn patience. 5 planets, 5 restless dancers in the cosmic dark, and for a very long time, that was our entire universe. Then came 1781. William Herschel, a musician turned stargazer, stood in an English field with a telescope he built by hand. As he peered through the lens, he noticed something faint, bluish and round. Not a star, but a planet. Uranus, the first world ever found with technology. The discovery electrified Europe and forever changed our picture of the solar system, but something was wrong. Uranus refused to follow the path predicted by Newton's perfect equations. It sped up where it should slow down, and lagged behind where it should glide smoothly. By the 1820s, mathematicians were convinced something massive beyond Uranus was dragging it off its course. Enter Urbain Le Verrier, a man whose only telescope was numbers on a page. With pure mathematics and Newton's laws as his guide, he carved through the chaos and pointed to a precise spot in the sky. "Look here," he told the Berlin Observatory, and when Johann Galle aimed his telescope at that very point, there it was. Neptune, exactly where the calculations said it would be. It was one of the greatest triumphs in the history of science. A planet discovered not by sight, but by its invisible pull. Naturally, the hunt didn't stop there. In the early 1900s, Percival Lowell became obsessed with the idea of yet another hidden world, a Planet X tugging on both Uranus and Neptune. His observatory went searching, and though they didn't find the giant he imagined, they did stumble on Pluto in 1930. A tiny spark of ice and rock. Beautiful, yes, but far too small to account for the gravitational mysteries. Then came the 1990s, when new telescopes began peeling back the darkness even farther. Astronomers found the Kuiper Belt, a vast halo of icy worlds beyond Neptune, and suddenly Pluto was no longer a lone wanderer, it was just one member of a massive family of frozen bodies. But as our map of the outer solar system grew, so did the mystery. Strange orbits, tilted objects, clusters of worlds moving in sync, as if some giant hand were guiding them. That's when astronomers spotted the first real clues. They noticed extreme trans-Neptunian objects, worlds like Sedna, whose orbit stretches so far it takes 11,000 years to circle the sun. These distant objects should have been scattered randomly, like dice thrown across a table. Instead, they were huddled together. Their closest approaches to the sun, known as perihelia, pointed in nearly the same direction, within just 10 degrees. Their orbits were strangely tilted. Statistically, it shouldn't happen. The odds were something like 1 in 14,000 for just a handful of them. Add more objects and the chances plunge into the billions to 1. Sedna was the loudest alarm bell of all. It doesn't come anywhere near Neptune, meaning Neptune couldn't have shaped its orbit. Something else had to be out there, a massive distant influence. And then there was the Kuiper Cliff, where the number of objects suddenly drops past 50 astronomical units, like a sharp wall cut into the outer solar system. Simulations without a giant planet couldn't explain it, but simulations with a massive hidden world, suddenly the puzzle pieces fit neatly into place. By 2024, the evidence had become a pattern: 13 objects with clustered orbits, a handful moving almost perpendicular to the rest of the solar system, and dozens crossing Neptune's path in perfect alignment with what a distant super-Earth would cause. Everything pointed to one haunting conclusion: something huge is sculpting the outer solar system. In early 2016, two Caltech astronomers, Konstantin Batygin and Mike Brown, took a deeper look at the strange alignments. What they found wasn't just a coincidence. It was a signature. Their solution was bold: a ninth planet, a super-Earth about 5 to 10 times the mass of our own world, orbiting hundreds of times farther from the sun than we do. Not a gas giant, not a faint dwarf, but a massive ice rock world wrapped in a thin veil of hydrogen and helium. It would take up to 20,000 years to make a single orbit. Sunlight barely reaches it. Its temperature would hover around 40 to 50 Kelvin, colder than anything we could ever imagine standing on. In their models, Planet 9 isn't just another world, it's the conductor of an orchestra. Its gravity nudges, tugs, and gently herds these distant objects into the clusters we see today. It tilts their orbits, organizes their paths, and even explains the 6-degree tilt of the entire planetary plane of the solar system. Over the years, the models were refined. By 2025, researchers estimated its mass around 4.4 Earths, its radius roughly 23,000 kilometers, its likely composition a mix of rock, metal, and frozen water wrapped in a frigid atmosphere. Some theories suggested it might have been born closer to the sun and kicked out during the solar system's chaotic youth, while others imagined it as a wandering rogue planet, captured long ago during a close stellar encounter. More exotic theories, like it being a tiny primordial black hole, made headlines, but ultimately fell apart under scrutiny. The simplest answer, and the one most consistent with what we know, is still a super-Earth. Of course, believing in Planet 9 is one thing. Finding it is something else entirely. If it's as far out as the models predict, it would be so faint that spotting it would be like trying to see a firefly from 1,000 kilometers away. Telescopes across Hawaii, Chile, and space itself have scanned the skies for years, but only a small portion of its possible orbit has been searched. Still, the clues keep coming. Objects like 2015 TG387, nicknamed the Goblin, fit the Planet 9 pattern almost perfectly. And in 2025, a breakthrough arrived from an unexpected place: decades-old infrared surveys. A team led by Terry Fan combed through data from the IRAS mission of 1983 and the Akari mission of 2006, looking for any faint object that had moved slowly across the sky over those 23 years. Out of dozens of possibilities, one stood out. IRAS spotted a warm source in one location, and years later, Akari recorded a similar object shifted by exactly the amount a distant super-Earth would drift. It wasn't proof, but it was a tantalizing hint, a possible first glimpse of the ghost we've been chasing for half a century. But now everything comes down to one telescope. In Chile, on the slopes of Cerro Pachon, the Vera C. Rubin Observatory is preparing to open its eyes to the night. With its giant 8.4-meter mirror and a camera so powerful it can capture a valley's worth of stars in a single shot, Rubin will scan the entire southern sky. Every 3 nights, it will detect anything that moves, even by a fraction of an arcsecond. And for a world crawling across the heavens at a glacial pace, Rubin is the perfect hunter. Scientists estimate that within the first year alone, Rubin has a 70 to 80% chance of detecting Planet 9 if it's real. And even if the telescope doesn't spot the planet directly, the sheer volume of new data will reveal whether the strange clustering of distant objects is natural or the unmistakable fingerprint of a hidden giant. The future headlines are almost within reach. Planet 9 confirmed, or the Phantom was never there. For now, the cosmos holds its breath. For centuries, we followed faint clues in the dark, from the ancient Greek wanderers, to Herschel's telescope, to Leverrier's equations, to the icy shards of the Kuiper Belt whispering that something massive lurks beyond the light of the sun. And as Rubin Observatory prepares to begin its watch, we stand on the very edge of discovery. Maybe soon, we'll finally learn the truth. Maybe soon, the 9th planet will step out of the shadows. Until then, the stars remain silent, waiting, and so do we.